We've had the Toyota Vios for 12 years now. In that span of time, it has had a couple of facelifts, but under the skin, it's still the same car. Now, we have this. This is the Toyota Attive. Is it worth the money? Let's find out. Notice that I didn't say this is the new Toyota Vios, because technically it both is and isn't. The Attive in other territories will be the 4th generation Vios and will replace the 3rd gen. Here, that's not quite the case. The Attive will be sold alongside the 3rd gen Toyota Vios, at least for now. Toyota tends to be reluctant to fully let go of their popular models. So they're keeping the Vios the same way that they're keeping the Innova, even though the Xenix is already out. So yeah, 12 years and counting for the 3rd gen Vios. That's a lifetime in dog years. But at least people now have a more modern alternative in the Attive. Here in the Philippines, the Attive will be available in 4 variants, which you can see on the screen right now. What we have here are the E-Automatic and the top spec HEV. Now visually, they're almost identical from the outside. The only real giveaway is in the details. Some of the black accents on the hybrid have a glossy finish, while on the E, they're matte black. But the main differences between these two can be found under the hood and inside the cabin. Usually, cars get bigger with every generation. That is also true here with the Attive, although it's not that much bigger than the Vios. It's about 5 millimeters longer and about 10 millimeters narrower than the Vios. In terms of looks, this looks a lot more mature than the Vios. You have sharper horizontal lines here, which make it look more mature. The front can be a bit divisive. I'm not sure if I like it yet. You have these LED headlamps, which seem to be a bit too far apart. I don't know, the headlights seem to be too far apart from each other, and the angles don't mesh very well with the grille, but that's just me. These air vents over here are real. They feed air into the wheel wells, and that helps with the car's aerodynamics. You have a sharp chin down here. Now, the hybrid version of the Toyota Attive comes with full ADAS, including adaptive cruise control. So this comes with a radar unit. This also comes with a 360 camera, so you have cameras underneath the power folding side mirrors. You also get repeaters over here. You get a smart locking system to lock or unlock the vehicle. Just put your finger here, and that works as long as you have your key in your pocket. The Toyota Attive Hybrid gets 16-inch wheels, which are actually a bit smaller than the variant below it, which gets 17s. You get disc brakes on all 4 corners. As for the suspension, you get a McPherson setup at the front and a torsion beam setup at the back. Now, one more difference between the Attive and the Vios is that the Attive is now based on Daihatsu's DNGA platform. If you don't know yet, Toyota and Daihatsu have a collaboration. So they share platforms, parts, and models sometimes. This is just one of those cases. Now, is that a bad thing? You decide. We have 3 powertrain options for the new Attive. This top-of-the-line hybrid variant gets a 1.5-liter engine coupled to an electric motor, and the total power output is about 115 horsepower. Now, you would expect it to be a bit higher than that, considering that it's a hybrid and it has a 1.5-liter engine. But yeah, I'm guessing it's more tuned for efficiency than power. Now, there's also a 1.5-liter naturally aspirated gasoline engine, and the E over here gets a 1.3-liter engine. The hybrid variant gets a 0.76 kWh battery, the same size as the battery of the Yaris Cross. Now for comparison, plug-in hybrids like the CL5 have a battery capacity of 18.3 kWh. That's 24 times higher than the capacity of the Attive, so don't expect to be covering long distances in EV mode while driving the car. Now from the back, the HEV and the E variant look almost identical. The taillights look quite sharp. The HEV gets full LED lights, while the E comes with halogen reverse lights and turn signals. Trunk space is about the same as the Vios. Also, the 12-volt battery for the HEV is in the trunk, and both the HEV and the E come with a full-size spare tire. I think the exterior improvements could be a bit polarizing, but the interior upgrades, I think everyone's gonna agree that the Attive looks better. But before we talk about the interior, let's first hear a word from our sponsor. Introducing the Atto Sport Mobility Scooter, the world's most innovative mobility scooter. It folds into a small suitcase size, and it has wheels so you can move it around like a trolley. It separates into two parts. It has leather seats and grips, an illuminated LCD dashboard, enhanced lighting for extra visibility. You can install optional armrests. It's perfect for seniors as it's easy to lift and unfolds in seconds. It has a maximum speed of 10 kph, shock absorbing flat free tires, high ground clearance, advanced braking system. Be free to travel anywhere, land, sea or air. It has 20 kilometers of continuous driving range. Engineered with flair, designed with passion for performance. Be active, be free, be yourself. Attive Sport, moving life. So I think this interior is a pretty significant improvement over the Vios. In terms of materials, you get a lot more soft touch materials here. Like this is soft touch, this is plastic, but this is leather wrapped over here. You got a leather wrapped steering wheel. This panel over here is leather wrapped. You have a leather wrapped armrests. The seats are also leather wrapped. Both front seats are manually adjustable. I'm pretty sure this is synthetic leather. You get this you get these piano black accents over here, but it's not just regular flat piano black. You have this diamond pattern on it. So in terms of design, it also looks a lot more modern. You have these modern looking cuts over here. It looks quite sleek. You still get plenty of hard plastics here as expected. This is hard plastic, this is hard plastic. But the important touch points are all covered in soft touch materials. Now in terms of tech, we do get a bigger and more modern looking infotainment screen. You get a 360 camera now, as you can see. There is no 3D mode, and the quality is not as good as on the Seal 5, but it's usable enough. You'll also now get a full suite of ADAS features. You get adaptive cruise control, lane keeping assist, etc. So you have a lot more buttons on the steering wheel now. You got a fully digital instrument cluster. Now as for connectivity, you have one USB-C port, one USB-A port, one 12-volt outlet over here. Also you got a wireless phone charger. You have an electronic parking brake without a hold. Yeah, you don't get a lot of storage underneath the center armrest, but that's okay. Yeah, definitely a pretty significant improvement over the Vios. You also have a couple of buttons here. This is for turning off your ADAS. This is for switching to EV mode. Of course, needless to say, you have a start-stop button. In terms of storage, the glove box is pretty big. It's not dampened. You have pretty big bottle holders over there. You have some storage over here for loose items. Now here at the back, you get two air vents, two USB ports, both of which are USB-A. You don't get a center armrest here, but you get cup holders on the door cards, which are quite big. You have map pockets on both front seats. The room is just okay. It's about the same as the Vios. You do get a center tunnel here. The seats are quite comfortable. Thigh support is okay. You also have a bit of bolstering here, so you don't slide left to right so much when you're in the twisties. Now at first look, they look quite similar. You also have soft touch materials here on the dashboard and also over here, which is surprising for a lower model. But the steering wheel now is made of polycarbonate plastic. I wish instead of having these soft padded, I wish they covered the steering wheel in leather instead. We also now get a manual handbrake instead of an electronic handbrake. We got fewer buttons on the steering wheel since we no longer have ADAS. We still get a digital instrument cluster, although this one looks a bit different. It looks smaller. The infotainment screen seems to be about the same size, but you don't get a 360 camera now. You also don't get a wireless phone charger here, and the seats are now covered in fabric instead of faux leather. With the back seat, surprisingly, we also have dual air vents and 2 USB ports. Of course, you don't get a center armrest, but you do get large cup holders over here. If you own the 3rd gen Vios, there isn't much that you'll gain by upgrading to the Attive E. It feels familiar, and the performance should be roughly the same. But the Attive HEV, that's a different story. This one could be a game changer. It is said to be one of the most affordable full hybrid vehicles from a mainstream brand in the Philippines. And beyond the better fuel economy, the Attive HEV also gives you number coding exemption. The Toyota Attive HEV sells for 1,198,000 pesos. For exactly the same price, you can get a plug-in hybrid like the Seal 5, which has a bigger battery, almost twice as much power, a better interior, and more features overall. But the Attive seems to be a pretty good vehicle on paper. It's spec'd better than competing Japanese sedans. The Toyota badge is a major selling point for those who want to minimize their risk by getting a car from a brand with a proven track record. Now I say on paper because I haven't driven it yet. Hopefully it drives better than the Yaris Cross Hybrid, which I'm not a fan of. We'll try to do a full review once we get to rent a unit. Subscribe to be updated. Thanks to Toyota Otis for letting me film the new Toyota Attive. If you're interested in getting the Attive, you may contact them through the number on the screen.